we're going to go through like the system and actually use some of the actual updates that we had in the latest update, the 12.7 update. So we have the Tutor schedule builder. You guys probably have seen that, got a chance to jump in there. If not, you'll see it today. We also have the survey templates that Rose had mentioned as one of the things that might help in the center. We also have the ability now to edit event attendance. Before, you could maybe remove someone or add someone, but you couldn't really change the time they signed in and things like that. So we're going to see that. In addition, an upcoming feature is being able to schedule appointments using Wiggins, which is our AI assistant, if you're not aware of that. And it's basically just a new feature that we'd like to see and hope everybody will take advantage of. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing is the Tutor schedule builder, and it really works in three parts. So I've kind of broken into those three steps. So the first thing is to submit a schedule request to tutors. And these are the kind of steps outlined. We're going to see that in a minute. But basically, you're going to go to your center's tutor scheduling and schedule requests. Keep in mind, if you do have a light account or an essentials account, that this is a feature for our full Accudemia accounts. And those are the ones that tend to have more centers and maybe more tutors and things like that. So this is just a nice way to be able to get a lot of tutors that you have in the system to update their schedules and let you know when they're available, preferred times and things like that. So let's go ahead and take a look at this in the system. So I've got a test account pulled up here, and we're going to go ahead and first go to centers, tutor scheduling, schedule requests. And when I get here, I can actually see the requests that have already been made. So for instance, I could see the engineering center has already made that. So I can filter by just my center. So I'm going to look at the Student Success Center, and I do see that I haven't created one yet for this semester. So I'm going to go ahead and put through that scheduling request, and we're going to do it for my center and for the upcoming fall semester. I'm going to give them about 2 weeks to complete that. So I'm going to go ahead and set that date as the deadline. And there's three different criteria. So I could base this off of a certain course that I need to be fulfilled. You know, if I had general math assistants and I know like all my math tutors could help with that, that might be an easy way to do that. This might be like a global course that all my math tutors can help with. I could do this by existing groups. So I may create different tutor groups that would be able to help with different programs or courses. So I could create those in advance and go ahead and use those. And then finally, I have a manual selection where I can literally just see the list of all tutors, and I can search by name or ID. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we have a few tutors. I'm just going to do it this way, the manual. All right, so I've got a few people in there. And basically, once you have everything set up for those folks, we're going to go ahead and send that availability request to those tutors. That's going to complete the process. It does request that you, you know, 8 tutors have been sent this request. And it's going to give me a percentage to view regularly so I could see how much of those folks have completed it. If we go back to the engineering center, you can see that 100% of the folks had completed it, but you know, for my center, which is student success, I just sent it out to them, so they're at 0. So there was one in between, but that's how that works. So going back to it, the next step is step 2, where the tutors themselves are going to set their availability. And all they have to do to get to it is they click on their profile icon, which would be either their photo, if they have a photo, or their initials, and then they click on My Schedule Invitations. They've always had one said My Schedule. If you let them set their schedule, but this one's going to be a new section, My Schedule Invitations, and they're going to click that and then complete the availability. And basically it works on a 3-click kind of system. So when they click and drag over it the first time, it's going to set their general available hours. And then when they click over the same block again, it's going to set their preferred hours. And then finally, if they click it a third time, it's going to clear it out or set it back to not available. So we can go ahead and see that in the actual system here. So I'm going to go ahead and log in with a tutor this time. Okay. And like I said, they're going to go to their name or their photo here and click on My Schedule Invitations. Okay, and you can see they have the Success Center one that we just sent out. So now all they have to do is click on that. There are some statistics at the top. So we have like their total available hours versus their total preferred hours and how many days of the week that they're going to be available. And let's say this tutor is mainly available in the mornings. So let's say from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Thursday. So we're going to just select those times. And they prefer to kind of get everything done before noon, so they're going to say their preferred time though. And I'm literally just clicking and dragging over these. You can select one at a time. It's just easier to kind of click and drag over it. And so I've got my preferred times and my total available times. And I could even extend that out if, let's say, on certain days, like maybe Monday, Wednesday, I can go a little later because I don't have classes that start as early. So once I'm all done as a tutor, and I could clear everything if I made a mistake, but like I said, if you, let's say you went too far here to the 4, if you click through, it cycles back through to not being available after the 3rd click. So let's go ahead and send. Okay, and it does have them go back to their other schedule invitations. They might work for more than one center, so they could check those out. And if you saw that, I think she had like one for advising as well. So anyway, I'm going to log out of that tutor's account, log back in as the admin, and we're going to go back to that section, tutor scheduling, schedule requests. And you can see now 12% completed. So out of the 8, I have 1 that's completed. So you can kind of get updates on how everybody's doing as well without having to look at each individual tutor's account. And hopefully they get it all done before then. That's going to take us to our step 3 though, once they do. So step 3 is the admin approves the time slots for the hours that they need the tutors. So basically this just kind of goes over all that. There are a lot of statistics that you're going to see on the page when we go through it. So keep in mind these will all be able to be adjusted. You can hide or show whatever you need. And there's a lot of things to be able to see their preferred hours versus available hours. There's some autofill options that we'll see in there. And then you can save it as a draft if you're not ready to broadcast it to them, or broadcast it when completed. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So I won't be able to do this one yet because the date hasn't come. So that might be something in the future we look at, but we will want to make sure that everybody's had a chance to complete that. So I'm going to go ahead and look at one of these that's already in the past. So we've given them till 7/28. So this at this point, because it's completed 100%. I mean, it doesn't have to be 100%, but since it's past that date, I can go ahead and update this. So that, I'm sorry, I clicked on it to, that would just take me to edit it, but I want to go down here to where it says build schedule. So when you hover over it, or I could check here, you'll get like a build schedule option. Okay. And so this is just the available tutor. I think I only had one, just to show this off, I guess. And basically, I can see what hours they're available. Let me see. I guess nothing on Sunday, so I'm going to change that to Monday. Okay, and I do see some Monday hours, and it's hard to tell. I'm going to zoom in maybe a little bit, but these are their preferred hours in blue. It's very light, and then the light green is their total available hours. So for this tutor, I'm going to go ahead and go with their preferred hours. So it looks like from noon to about 4. So we'll go ahead and set that. And these are in 15 minutes. If I accidentally go over, like I went into the 15 minutes, I can just uh, change this to unassigned and click on it again to remove that. And let's look at Tuesday. Looks like the same. Oops, I gotta change that back to assign. My bad. Okay, and let's just do Wednesday. Oh, and it looks like they're not available until 1, so we'll go ahead and do that. And maybe till 4, so they have their hours. Or till 5. Okay. And let's see. There's still other days available. I'm gonna go ahead and go with this, but um, what you can also see here is if we click on the gear, you can see all the different statistics. Some of these are similar to what the tutor saw. So you can see how many hours are assigned versus their preferred hours, and then the total available hours for each slot. That's one of the stats cards here. And then we have time slot coverage. So you can see for all the days of the week how much coverage is out there. And if you needed more, it gives you the hours as well as percentages. Keyboard shortcuts. So if you needed to or wanted to use the keyboard to assign or unassign time slots, there's the keyboard shortcuts here. I'm going to hide those. And then the right panel, let's see what that looks like. So this is really going to just show for the tutor that I had selected. You can see Chad here, the days and the amount of hours and everything that he's available for. Once I'm done, like let's say I'm still working on this and I have more slots that I need to fill, I can go ahead and at least save it as a draft. Okay, and it's gonna let me keep on, making changes to this, come back in. I could leave and come back in, but it should save basically the work that I've been doing. And I do that every time. Build schedule. There we go. All right, and let's say I am happy with it and I've made all the changes that I wanted. So I can go ahead and broadcast the schedule. And it's basically giving me some warnings just to let me know, like, okay, this isn't, ready because of X, Y, or Z. And before you can like finalize it or approve it, you have to, do that or make this decision. So it says there's tutors with no assignments. Do you want to clear their schedules or keep their existing schedule that they have? Whenever there's any kind of error, and then it will let you broadcast once you've made that decision. I'm not going to do that today, but that's some of the kinds of things. And it does, that's why it's just trying to validate the slots basically to make sure everything's good to go. So that's that. Next thing is our survey templates. So to get to this, it's going to be under the same surveys that you're used to. So under administration, center management surveys, you're going to see all the different surveys that you can do. But we've just added a new button up here where it says use template, and then you're going to see all 7, I think, surveys that are available. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Again, we're going to go to administration, centers, management, I'm sorry, and surveys. And we're just going to start off with a new survey and go ahead and use a template. And as you can see in here, we have like the description for each one of these, depending on the type of survey that I'm trying to do. Maybe I need for a lab, I need like a terms and conditions to let them know, you know, what they need to do. Maybe, if it's a tutoring environment. So it can kind of start you off with like the way that would be created. And once I select one, all I have to do is just say select. And like that, my questionnaire has already been pre-filled with all the different options. Now I can still customize it further. So if it if it's 70% there for you, you can just kind of put it to 100, the way you exactly need it. But it'll give you a good starting position so that you're not having to start from scratch. Of course, you're going to want to go through and rename this so that it makes sense to you. This is only the survey that name that you see on the questionnaire. This is the survey they would see. So if you wanted to, you could edit that title to whatever you want them to see. And additionally, configure, if you want it to be at sign out, sign in, if you want to go to students and all that. All right, next feature. All right, so next we can update our event attendance. This is really, really cool. So let's go ahead and show you that. So we're going to go under campus again, and this time we're going to go under events registration so you can see it. Now, just while we're waiting for that to load, you do have to have had the event, so it has to have been in the past in order to work on those events. So let me just see if I found one. There we go. Okay, I had to include past events. Okay, that's great. So let's say this workshop, the swag salesman workshop. So what I would want to do is I don't want to edit it. Just click on the title, and you can see any restrictions or registrations that had happened, as well as your attendees. So in this case, I don't have an attendee, so I'm going to have to add someone. So let's go ahead and add someone. We can add a few someones. Let's see. Oh, I have to check that first. All right, and let's add someone else. And before you would see what time they signed in, if they were registered or not registered, and this would be like your attendance, let's say after the session happened. And really all you could do is remove or add them. You wouldn't really be able to edit the timestamp, so you can actually change that time. So if it really wasn't midnight that they signed in, you could go ahead, if you had like maybe a sign-in sheet or some other way that you had taken that attendance, and you can go ahead and add that. Because things happen. Maybe the internet was down and you had to do what you had to do. You know what I mean? So this is just give you uh, opportunity to kind of add those times how you see fit. And then when I go ahead and download that report, it's going to have all those updated times that we wanted on there. All right, there they are. It's in military time, but that works. All right, so let's go ahead and close that and talk about our next feature. Now, this is an upcoming feature, so I just wanted to kind of highlight this, but it's something that we've been working on, and had to make sure that Wiggins, because he's AI, wants to be as helpful as possible, that he, doesn't go and allow for just about anything. So it basically does check all the rules and everything, like just as if you were scheduling through uh, like the appointment system. And it's going to look something like this. I just did this for fun, this little conversation. But essentially, that's what you would do. And it's going to keep refining the questions until it gets to where they can actually schedule an appointment. And I think we have it kind of working. This is a test system that we have. Let me go ahead and go in there. So as you know, or may not know, if you click the help option up here, you can basically ask this Wiggins, just about anything about Accudemia, or even if you've uploaded like information about your centers, you can ask about your centers and things like that. Some of the new feature though is really to be able to schedule appointments. So let's see. I would like, oops, to schedule a tutoring appointment in the Student Success Center on Wednesday. Are there any times available? Okay, so you can see right now is like just giving us some other information because we didn't even say like what service or course that we wanted the help for. So he's just kind of asking some clarifying questions before they could do this. And by the way, this isn't enabled by default. So you would have to enable this if this is something that you want Wiggins doing or not. So it's not, just enabled. Um, but yeah, so right now, let's say we want to do online tutoring for college algebra. Okay, so this center may not have that course available, so we can always ask for another course and keep refining it until we get there. It may be just easier, to do the actual appointment, but it is kind of cool to kind of see that go through that process and schedule an appointment. What I wanted to do though is I'd rather show you in the control panel under administration here, uh, this new AI assistant. So you see Wiggins down here. And you can go ahead and select your center. So whether your center or another center may want to use it, but maybe you guys don't. So you could actually enable or disable it right here where it says enable appointment creation via AI assistant. So this is where this would be. It's also where you would upload documents if you have anything like that you want the students to know about your center and everything. So, I mean, that's pretty much that. I mean, we're still working on that, so should be available soon. So now we're going to open it up for some questions, and I did see we already had some questions in the chat.
Following up on the earlier question about separate programs sending out their own availability requests simultaneously, our center has multiple programs that all work and schedule very differently. Can we have open requests out to multiple tutor groups at the same time? Math tutors, business tutors, writing tutors. I know you are able to create those schedule requests per center. In regards of creating them per center and then like per group, you can because it's
Yeah.
just separating the tutors. So that shouldn't be an issue. And yeah, you can create like multiple schedule requests. So that should be good.
Yeah, so if I had like, let's say math tutors versus like writing tutors or something like that, I don't know if you had seen when I was creating it. But basically in the scheduling requests, you're allowed to filter by group or it could be by course, it could be by individuals that I pick. So, you don't have to necessarily have it pre-created as long as you knew who that group of folks were. And I could send out, two or three depending if I want different groups. So like when I'm checking for availability, I make sure that that particular program or service is covered.
And then if a tutor changes their availability in the schedule builder after initial submission, do you get a notification? So yeah, tutors up until the expiration date have that time to kind of go in and make those changes. It doesn't send you a notification when they make those changes, but if that is something that you're concerned about, I would recommend just not having the expiration date out for a very long period of time. And additionally, if you wanted to receive those submissions a little bit earlier, there is a confirmation email that you can send out, or like it kind of notifies them um, to submit their availability. So you can send those out throughout the process as you would like, but it doesn't send you a notification as they're updating their own schedule, like before it's been broadcast.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that in the control panel we still have a setting where if you go to user accounts here, there's like a restrictions. We still have a setting where you can say that tutors can edit their own schedules. So right here, in fact, but and this is just our terminology. There's all these ones. Don't worry about that. But but basically, it's just saying tutors can edit their own schedule, and if you leave that on, then they're going to be able to edit the schedule. So and I don't think it will notify you. So you do have to be careful. You could turn it off if you don't want them. And the great thing is that setting is going to still work with this new feature. This is really just to kind of publish out to them and say like, hey, we need you to kind of update your schedule so we'll know when you're going to be available this semester and kind of get that area or that program worked out on the schedule.
It also does send them like a email when like a confirmation email when it's been broadcast and finished as well. So that way
Right.
they're up to date and it'll show them their work schedule is finalized and then their weekly hours are listed and it'll kind of give them a summary. And then it like gives like a couple more messages. But if you have like a test tutor in your account, I would recommend maybe even just testing it out with a test tutor so you could see it yourself in action and you can kind of play around with it and see how you want to make those adjustments before you send it out to many tutors. Um, yeah, and another question, we have a center with multiple programs. Some programs have a split focus. I see that we can create scheduled availability requests for specific groups, but what if we have specific programs? Can we do that? I think that you can send them by group. So if you put um, those people in the program within a group, you could send it out to them in that way.
All right. And I think
Yes.
the last question that I see, unless more come in.
Can you clarify what aspects of Wiggins are currently available? I know you mentioned we can upload a document to train the AI about our center. Is that something we can get started on now with Wiggins? It's still in development. So that has been a feature we released like a couple months ago, and you can upload information about your center, your office hours, who runs the center, any information you'd like. So that way, when students go and ask, like, who do I see for this center? Or what are the office hours for this person? It can answer those questions. And then with the appointment process, Wiggins is used from students. And that actually, it is currently available. The reason I think Nick was saying it, like maybe not, not from the administrative point, but it is available for the students. Um, so that is available actually, and it's still in development in the sense like we're still going to be adding features to it, and it's going to improve over time. But
Yeah, and I only added upcoming because that was still the one that was taking the longest to kind of go through. We had a
yeah,
lot of trial and error testing and stuff like that. So, um, just to make sure that, they're following all the rules and not allowing them to do whatever,
yeah,
whenever. So,
it's it's still improving. But if you wanted to test it with a test student and kind of just see what that process looks like, um, you can try it out. And we're always open to feedback. So, all right, I think there's one more question. Oh, we got thank you. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you for joining our webinar. Please feel free to come the second Tuesday of every month where we talk about these topics and go over some of our new features. And if you guys ever have feedback, please let us know. And we appreciate you for joining us.
thanks, y'all. Bye bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.